Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Bargello from polymer clay. Now I'm going to be working with souffle polymer clay today, but you can use any brand of polymer clay that you want. I'm going with souffle today because I like the colours and I also like the semi-suede look that it gives after baking. But again, emphasis on you can use any brand that you want. The colours that I have here are Lagoon, Pumpkin, Ivory and Poppy Seed. Feel free to use any colours that you want. I'm going to pop these guys to the side. They're going to be used in just a moment. But the black I am going to be applying a layer of gold leaf to because I don't want it to be quite this strong in the colour palette. So I've got some gold metal leaf right here. And I'm just going to be applying that to my clay. Also, you want all of your pieces of polymer clay to be rolled out on the same thickness setting. So they're all about 1 millimeter thick. Okay, and then once you've trimmed off the excess, you're going to then just take your roller and you're going to give that a light roll in both directions to give yourself a crackle. And this is going to thin out the black a little bit, but I want it to be gold with some black highlights essentially. And there we go. Alright, and then from there we're essentially ready to begin the Bargello. However, I would recommend actually trimming the edges of your black because there's going to be little scraggly pieces of gold, and those have a way of finding their way onto other pieces of clay that they shouldn't be on. So I like to trim those up so that it keeps things a little bit more clean. Okay, and I've just positioned everything so that I can build the Bargello over here. And all you're going to do is you're just going to take, first off you're going to trim your piece, and then you're going to take a strip and you're going to pop that down. And then you're going to grab a strip of the next colour and you're going to pop that next to it. And what I would recommend doing is with the first two also, I'd recommend grabbing those and then just using a piece of paper to just get it to kind of stick onto your work surface, in this case a glass tile, so that when you go to pop more up against it, it doesn't move around as much and it just can make the process a little bit easier. There we go. And then with the gold, I'm actually going to grab a thinner strip because I want this to only be an accent. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to repeat that pattern over and over again to create a stripe veneer, and then from there I can then cut it in a way that creates the Bargello, but this is the first step. And try to keep your strips as straight as possible. It can be a little tricky, but that's why I recommended getting everything kind of in position first. And this one's giving a little bit of trouble. But yeah, just keep popping everything together. And there we go. Then grab a piece of paper and you're going to give it a burnish. When you burnish, make sure you go in the same direction as the lines so that you keep them nice and straight. And this isn't to completely smooth it out, it's simply to get the pieces to stick together, which is going to make the next part of the process much easier because we're going to essentially cut them in the opposite way that we have already. And if you don't kind of get everything smooth together, they just kind of become little squares and fall all over the place. So that just makes things a little easier. You also want to then go and just trim those edges. And generally those pieces are separate enough that you can actually separate them out and pop them back in with your other colours so that they don't become scraps. There we go. And this looks nice enough already as it is. You could use it if you wanted to just like this. But what you're going to do now is you're going to do the Bargello but the opposite direction, which is going to be to grab this and then each time you cut, whoops, there, that's why it needs to be burnished out. In this situation I would actually just recommend putting those to the side. It's going to be more hassle to get them to form together than it's worth. They can be scrap. But you're just going to cut and drag and position it so that it's one level down, and then just give it a tap to stick it down. And then you're going to repeat that motion a couple of times. Just tap it down each time, so you kind of create a checkered pattern. And then generally I will go 4 one way, then I'll start going up again, and then just continue that motion until you have used up all of your clay. And there we go. I think that looks quite nice. Now you can either leave it exactly the way that it is, or you can apply a little bit of a surface texture. I'm going to be using this little sandpaper kind of patterned texture stamp. You can use regular sandpaper as well. I'm just using this one because I don't have any sandpaper that I can 100% guarantee is clean, and I don't want this clay to get dirty. But there we go, you can do that, and I'm just going to do that again to make sure that I have a nice texture on there. And I'm not sure how well it's going to pick it up. I'll pick it up so you can see. I'm just going to pick that straight up, and that texture step will have helped bond everything together. But there, hopefully you can see there that it has a very slight texture to it. You can see what the back looks like. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how that looks. I'll pop that to the side, and I'm going to bring over some more of that ivory colour clay, and I'm going to also texture this. I'm just going to flatten that out, bring over this texture stamp and give that a good old texture. Again, you can use a regular piece of sandpaper, that will work just as well. Or you could leave the clay completely plain as well, because souffle already does have a pretty good texture to it. I just like to add a little bit extra texture. Alright, and then once that's been textured, you can choose your cutters. I'm going to be using these rounded triangle cutters. I'm going to be using 2 of them so that I can create a border. This is where our Bargello is going to be, and this is the outside border. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to position it roughly in the middle. Does not need to be perfect right this second, but you want it to be close. And what you're going to do is you're only going to cut out the middle. You're just going to cut that straight through, lift that up, get that out of there because you don't need that. Put that to the side. That can go back in with your regular pieces. And then I'm going to bring over the Bargello. Okay. And now the important bit here is that when I cut this out, I can't just be cutting it at a random angle. It does need to be straight, because you're going to see it in the pendant if it's not at least somewhat trying to be symmetrical. So I am going to be looking for a good spot that I think looks nice. I'm going to take it up top here. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing it along the edges here. It needs to slide just this way a bit. And it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but you want to get it as close as you can. And then you're going to cut. And I've left enough room so that if I want to make some more pieces from the Bargello, I can. Just lift that up and away, as well as that. Okay. Then you're going to lift this up, and there's going to be some fluffy bits along the side. Just gently tap that in. That's generally a little bit of metal leaf and a little bit of the texture from the souffle clay. And you're going to take that, and that's going to be popped in the center here. You're just going to place that in the center and try to get it as symmetrical as you can, or in the center as you can anyway, and then just tap it down. And it doesn't matter if you're tapping it and it's getting a little bit of fingerprints, that's okay, because then we're going to take our texture and we're going to be pressing it down until everything kind of merges together as one. If you didn't have a texture, you would use a piece of paper instead and give it a burnish. Okay, and then once it's burnished, I have centered the cutter again, and I'm just going to go around the edges and create another slight indent, not cutting the whole way through, but just enough to create a little bit of a separation between the border and the center. That is completely optional though. If you don't like that, feel free to skip. Then we're going to lift this up, and here you can see how that looks. And here's how the back looks. It's a little bit on the messy side. So what I'm going to do is I've grabbed the rest of the black and gold leaf clay, and I've run that through on the thinner setting of my pasta machine, and I am going to be applying that to the back of my piece. I'm just going to bring over a piece of paper, and then you're going to take your piece, flip that over, bring over that kind of crackled clay, place that in the center, gently tap that down, then we're going to lift that back up again. And then to get things to center a little bit more, I'm going to just bring in this and press from this side, because this side has the texture, and so this is the side of the pattern that I want to preserve. So I didn't press from the other side because of that. Then you're going to grab the larger cutter and you're going to center that. Okay, and I did actually go down one size because I thought the border was a little bit too large, but you want to center it, and then you're going to go ahead and give one nice clean cut on your paper, preferably, because that way your back keeps a nice matte finish. There we go, and then that should pop right out of your cutter. Then again, you're going to have a little bit of gold around the edges, so just go and tap to clean that up. And I quite like how this piece has come out. It's a nice colour pattern, and I do quite like the Bargello effect. It looks quite nice. I'm happy with this one. Alright, there we go. Oh, and also, you can always separate these out, so don't feel like that's scrap. Can separate it out, clean it up a little bit with your blade, and then you can have them as their separate colours again. Then you could either bake that flat, or you can grab a doming tool, pop that on top, and then use the palm of your hand to gently get that to stick. And it is souffle, so you might have a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. Just gently use your palm to do that so that you don't end up with fingerprints. And it doesn't have to be a perfect stick. If it bakes on there, it will capture the dough. This is then going to go into the oven for 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature. Actually, souffle's recommended temperature, though they're the same temperature. 40 minutes at the recommended temperature, and then from there we can finish it off. And here is how it looks once it's out of the oven. And I'm really quite happy with how that looks. So now I am going to give it a drill, and I'm actually going to be drilling it on one of the sides where it's not an equal pattern. So this was how I cut it before, where everything was kind of coming up straight, but I think I prefer it hanging from something like this angle, or potentially this angle here where it's kind of going at a diagonal. Let's see which one of those, which side do I like better? I like this one. And I'm just going to use a little handheld pin drill, and I'm going to place a hole right at the top here, and I'm just eyeballing that. Okay, and the clay should be flexible after it's baked, so if you see that it's moving around, that is normal. It won't be completely firm, especially if it's been baked properly. It should actually be flexible. Alright, And then I'm just going to use a jump ring to attach that to my ready-made necklace, and you can attach it to any cord that you want. I actually have this necklace here that's kind of using a clasp as part of the bail. I think that's quite a nice idea, but again, feel free to do it however you want. Also, if you don't want to make a pendant, you could always make 2 of these and make earrings out of them. You could downscale the design quite easily. You can cut the strips a little bit thinner, or you could even just take cutouts from the same piece, but just change the size of the cutter to something a little bit smaller, and then you could have earrings. But there, I'm just going to attach that jump ring there. Nice and easy, and then that's quite a cool bail look. I've always liked this look. But yeah, there we go. That is just about it. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing, as I do videos like this just about every single day. If you have suggestions for future tutorials, let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to different suggestions. Anything is welcomed. And if you like the video enough that you'd like to support the channel, please do consider becoming a member. There's a join button just below this video where you can become a member of the channel and gain access to these videos early, as well as access to videos that are not available on YouTube. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store, Jessama Design, where I sell things such as the cutter that I used in today's video. But that is just about it for today. I do hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.